Have just the rainbow, can't have just the rainbows and sunshine. We also have to have the rain and the worms. And so it's that to me is just kind of like the circle of life in a sense. It's like that it just we look at life often linearly, and I really think that it's a circle, and that it's kind of like you have the waves of the things that come at you. And then the question is how you're going to greet them. Are you going to just react? And that's where finding the gift or looking for the gift comes in, even though the gift doesn't often come instantly. But I was, the thing was that I was looking at Yvonne's death,
Mhm.
and the fact that grieves me, and I'm sure it grieves all of us. And so being able to recognize that those feelings that are painful, that if we turn around and stay in the moment. I know that was the other thing I kept thinking about. Was last week we talked a lot about living in the moment, so that if you're living in the moment and you're not judging good or bad, and you can just look at the moment. And that gave us an opportunity in the prayer meeting this week, that we celebrated Yvonne in a sense. I mean, we all shared our feelings about how she meant to us and who she was, and learned from one another. I mean, I didn't know that she was a great sewer and that she used to make things for people. And in addition, I think we all knew that she was a violinist. And then, of course, I think most of us also knew that she loved silliness, which is something that I felt I shared with her. And so it's like it doesn't take away some of the sadness, but it eases it, and it gives us an opportunity to celebrate a person, to celebrate this and to remember over time the times that you've had with someone. Um, there was something about that I also experienced in a movie that I watched, which was sometimes you hear people talking about how time, the past, the present, and the future are all going on at the same time. Well, as this book and movie, what the essence that I got out of it beyond the story was that the way that it was written, you were getting what was going on in his head and what he was reminded of at each of these things that he encountered, and sort of his processing through that. And it's kind of like the book is related to appreciating small things, which I
Mhm.
think is another gratitude, is sort of like the person who smiles at you at the store when you're in a sad mood, or any of the little things that come along that can bring you back and make you appreciate and be grateful. So at any rate, I was that those are a lot of what I was thinking. And then I got blasted with a YouTube, which was the energy of gratitude opens every door. And that
Mhm.
is Dr. Spinoza, Dr. Joe. He said it is not just a reaction to life, it is the frequency that creates life.
Mhm.
It calls good things into being. And, I just thought that's spiritual mind treatment. That's the whole concept of the gratitude of being able to vision and feel that which you want to experience, and to do it so vividly that you draw it in. And it works. And it's a challenge for many people to get to the place of being able to pull that in. But I think that we are so blessed at being able to have the teachings that give us the guidance to move in that direction. And so I now have a much stronger feeling about how practicing gratitude over time changes your life and makes your life joyful, which I have to honor Nan in relation to that, because I really think that's how she lives, that she lives in gratitude all the time. And so from that, I will move into prayer. So if we can draw together and take a deep breath. Oh, I am so grateful for the power and presence and the life that is God, that is ever there for us and connects us and makes us one, and how we unite on both visible and invisible levels to be able to experience life in great fullness and joy. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for this congregation as well. And I want to speak my word for gratitude and for the wonderful opportunities that we have in just looking around us to be grateful, but then even going deeper and being grateful when it doesn't look as beautiful as the sunset or the sunrise. And so I am speaking my word for gratitude and for knowing that the blessings of gratitude reside in each one of us, and that we can, in fact, create our lives from that space. And to know that this is the truth is awesome to me. and, and I also want to acknowledge my joy in contemplating the transition of both Martha and Yvonne, and what gracious beings they were and what blessings they were to us. And I pray this for everyone's relatives, loved ones, and friends that we know are on the other side and have that sense that they are there for us and still with us in a way that only we can know for certain. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for each and every person in this congregation. You all bless my life. And so I release my word with great thankings and sorry for my emotionality. And we release together by saying, and so it is. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry.
The affirmation: I welcome the changes of this season with an open heart. I trust that every ending carries the seed of a new beginning. Gratitude grounds me and grace guides my way. I am aligned with the gentle rhythm of life's unfolding, and so it is.
Seems
And
very appropriate.
I wish to say my mother tried to teach me not to wear my heart on my sleeve, but it didn't work.
That's okay. We like seeing your heart.
Thank
This
you.
is a safe place.
You know, one thing I just would like to add, because of the song that what was it? I'm
I'm so
grateful
grateful to be alive.
grateful for being alive.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
so
it's-
grateful I'm alive.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because at the end of Joe Dispenza's thing, when he was talking about what you can do in the midst of the thing that you want to react to, is say, I'm grateful I'm living this day
Yeah.
as a way to break, to
Oops. Didn't need to do that. Go ahead.
yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you, Lissa. That was beautiful. And I think we're all feeling pretty much the same way about Yvonne, that our hearts are all on our sleeves a bit. It's still raw.
Yeah.
So I have another, I'm going to just share the sound, not the video. There's no video. Another grateful song. We're going to have a lot of grateful songs today. Grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. You can hear it? Grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, so grateful. I am grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, so grateful. I am grateful for all the love that I have. love reflected, shining back to me. I just give thanks for all these simple things, the joy and peace that gratitude brings. That's why I'm grateful, so very grateful. I am grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, so very grateful. I am grateful for all the love that I have. Every day I wake before I open my eyes, I count my blessings and I realize life is a miracle when I see it that way. I focus on the beauty, that's why I've got to say how I'm grateful, so grateful. I am grateful for all the love that I have. I am so very, very grateful. I am grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, so grateful. Grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, so grateful. I am grateful for all the love. I'm so grateful, grateful, so very grateful. I am grateful for all the love that I have. I am so very, very grateful. I am grateful for all the love that I have. I am grateful for all of my friends. I am grateful for all my friends. I am grateful for my wonderful life. I am grateful for my wonderful life. I am grateful for my radiant health. I am grateful for my radiant health. I am grateful for my abundance. Grateful for my abundance. I am grateful for the joy in my heart. I am grateful for joy in my heart. I am grateful for the peace that I feel. I am grateful for the peace that I feel. I am grateful for every blessing. Now I'm grateful for every blessing. I am grateful for the love that I.
Well, that'll make you grateful. Oh, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry about the recording. I accidentally hit it when I was trying. Never mind. Oh, it's just great to see y'all. And great to be here this morning when we came online at 10:05. Usually Yvonne's the first one on, and so it hit me. Oh, she's not here. And then Marcia, she's always on as well, and she sent me a text saying, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to make it today." So I missed them. But Nan and Judy were on with us, so it was fine. We prayed for everybody. So, good morning. Good morning, One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living. You know, and I always like to say that our intention as a spiritual community is to expand and uplift the collective consciousness of humanity with the love and the peace and the light of the divine presence. And we use the spiritual principles and practices of the science of mind philosophy. And as always, whether you're here in real time or you're listening to the replay, you are welcome in this space. And we invite you to join us in our expansive vision of a world that is loving and kind and compassionate to all. So, as Lissa paved the way for us. It is the season of gratitude. It's in full swing with Thanksgiving just around the corner. It's on everybody's mind, and I think everybody's attention is turned towards giving thanks, which is wonderful, right? Thanksgiving is such a valuable reminder that not only is it important to give thanks daily for all that we've already been blessed with, but that gratitude also has a deeper meaning. And and it uplifts and enhances our lives just in so many ways. It's not difficult to see why gratitude is a better way to live. Gratitude just feels good. It feels so much better than walking around like the world is against you or with a heavy weight on your shoulder. Gratitude is the vibration that calls more and more good into our lives. It just feels wonderful. And it's not just a wonderful feeling or a polite habit. From a new thought perspective, it's also a very powerful spiritual practice. It aligns our mind with the mind of God. It shifts our point of awareness to what's possible within divine mind. And then it demonstrates our faith in creative law. And good shows up in our experience. I think gratitude demonstrates the fundamental philosophy of science of mind, that there is only one life, and that life is God's life, and that life is perfect, and that life is our life now, right here. That's what gratitude does. It raises us up into that space of acknowledgement that we're one. When we give thanks for everything, we're declaring the truth so clearly and so powerfully that the law has no choice but to demonstrate it in our lives. It's funny. I actually asked AI to make a list of all of the benefits of gratitude, and it was a very long list. I decided not to run down the list, but it included health benefits, emotional benefits, relationship benefits, and spiritual benefits. Gratitude just feels so good, and when we feel good, life opens up in front of us. We've probably all experienced that moment when you make that deep shift into gratitude, when something's bugging you, and all of a sudden you have that shift in consciousness, and it feels light and open. It slows us down, and we become aware of what's going on around us. It kind of opens our heart to meet life right where we are. It anchors us in what's real and good, and it kind of naturally strengthens the connection between the giver and the receiver. It reminds us that we all belong to the same source, to the same oneness. And yesterday I took my husband to a medical appointment. He had an MRI, and he doesn't drive anymore, and he has some health challenges. And after the appointment, we'd just gotten in the car to drive home, and he put his hand on my hand and he said, "Thank you for driving me." And I have to admit that it really took me by surprise because he doesn't usually do that. But there was such a sincerity in his voice and a sense of genuine gratitude that it connected us in a deep way. It was a feeling of giving and receiving at the same time, just from his simple thank you. It really was. It kind of makes me tear up when I talk about it because it was such a sacred moment. Gratitude is so powerful and it feels so good. It feels like home. So as Lissa mentioned, this morning's message is gratitude for everything. And I know that in our human lives, there are certainly things that we prefer and things that we don't prefer. And everything would seem to include more than just the things we prefer. Everything includes the unexpected, the difficult, the challenges, the things that we may not have chosen for ourselves. However, as metaphysicians, we understand that gratitude is a way of aligning ourselves with the flow of life. It's not just a feeling we have when things go well, although it is that too. It's a conscious way of showing up, even in the midst of our challenges. Gratitude's an energy that says, to the universal present. I'm open. I'm here. I'm available. I'm receptive to life. I trust life. And creative law catches that vibration and acts on it. And thankfulness is our response to something good that has happened. It kind of arises naturally and it's beautiful. But gratitude, I think of gratitude more as a reaction rather than a reaction, as a way of being, kind of a steady state of consciousness and aligning us with the good that's already present. Gratitude is it reminds me of a peaceful non-resistance. It just kind of lets life flow, and we're able to greet it where it is. I don't know. Can you feel the vibe as I'm just trying my best to describe how gratitude makes us feel and how it opens us? You may have heard a famous quote from a 17th century Japanese Zen Buddhist nun. Her name was Sono, Sono. And I heard this years ago, and it really struck me. But she said, "Thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever." And Sono, she just lived really simple in this Buddhist temple in Japan, and her days were filled with really endless chores. Sweeping, hauling water, mending robes for the monks, cooking for the monks. And this is how she lived every day. She'd work until she was exhausted and her fingers were sore and ached. And one day, her master, I'm assuming he was the abbot, um, his name was Bankai. He asked her how she felt, and with this, so the story goes, and with this serene smile, she said, "Thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever." And there was no bitterness and no anger and no resentment. But the key to her serenity and her serene attitude was that Sono didn't fight against the endless chores that she was doing every day. She flowed with them as she swept and as she hauled and cooked and mended. There was no struggle, no pushback against anything. And in her surrender, you can feel that peace wash over you, and her non-resistance, her gratitude blossomed. "Thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever." It's like a river. When you stop pushing against the current, peace just kind of carries you. Non-resistance naturally carries the vibration of gratitude. And well, I am pretty sure that none of us would like to spend our days endlessly doing the same kind of chores as Sono. Her life can be an example for us that we don't have to push against or resist the challenges that we face. We can actually move through them. And gratitude paves the way for that. It paves the way for us to create something new. It's fertile ground for the creation of something new. So when Sona went about her day doing her endless chores, she didn't meet them with that inner argument. She didn't complain. I know personally, I have been known to do that, especially when things come up that I don't prefer. I might inwardly say something like, or ask the question, "Why is this happening to me?" Or "Why do I have to go through this?" Or "When is this ever going to end?" It's fleeting, but it does come up. It's kind of my silent argument is my resistance. It's the clenched fist of my awareness. "No, not this." And we all do that once in a while. But Sono, she just opened her hands. And she wasn't just being polite or heroic. She just didn't push life away. She knew that whatever shows up was not her enemy, no matter what it looked like, even if it was something she didn't prefer. And it wasn't a fake sentiment either. She actually lived, according to the stories, from a place of embracing everything. "Thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever." So what can we learn from Sono's example? Well, we can learn to notice that first moment of resistance. I know we all know what it feels like. While we're in the traffic jam or having the difficult conversation or being given the difficult diagnosis, we could recognize when that first moment of no arises. We don't have to ignore it. We don't have to like it or pretend it's fun. We just have to stop adding that second ingredient of resistance, which leads to resentment and discomfort. We can learn to kind of acknowledge what's happening and then let our body relax. Because I know my shoulders go up, my jaw gets clenched. Let your body relax. Let your breath lengthen and let that kind of tiny softening be the beginning of non-resistance. Breathe into the moment, into peace. We can actually say thank you even before we feel thankful. We can say thank you for this moment exactly as it is. Lissa referenced something to that effect. Thank you for this moment exactly the way it is. That's not denial. It's a conscious shift or a pivot from resistance to openness and curiosity, from fear to an expectancy of good. It's kind of an act of trust, trusting that life's challenges are actually preparing the way forward for us. It may feel counterintuitive to be grateful for something you definitely don't want. But when resistance drops away, you can kind of feel it when that happens. What remains is gratitude. And then we meet that hard thing, like Sono did, without the resistance of complaint. And then, because you can feel it, something in us kind of opens up. We begin to feel peaceful, and our peacefulness gives way to our power to create. From Sono's quote, we can understand that gratitude is, and Lissa said this too, it's far more than just an emotional response to something. It's a spiritual technology. I like that idea because practices really are a kind of technology that change us. It's not just a nice feeling we have when things go well. Gratitude supports us no matter what we're facing. It's a powerful way of moving through, well, every moment. And as we practice it, our life shifts. It takes on a new flavor, and our outer experiences begin to line up with our inner clarity, and our intentions, our thoughts and our feelings stop working against each other. Science has shown us that gratitude helps our mind and our body just settle into that calmer, clearer state. And when we're there, we think more creatively. We see more possibilities. It softens us. It softens that tight space of resistance that can come up inside of us. And it makes space for insight and for inspiration. It really does. And right now, and Lissa referenced this as well, our community is facing a hard thing. One of our very beloved members has moved on to her next adventure. And while we know she's fine, we miss her. There's an emptiness where her presence once was. And it's sad. And while we're in the midst of grief, it's difficult to be grateful. But we can be grateful for her life and the love and the friendship that she brought to our community. And in that way, gratitude actually gives us strength to move through this time of grief. I love the image of a big tree in a storm. Its strength isn't avoiding the wind. It's swaying and bending with it. Its deep roots keep it grounded and steady. In our own lives, when we face loss like we are now, or setbacks or uncertainty, we can root ourselves in spiritual truth that life is infinite and life is good. And nothing connects us more quickly to spiritual truth than gratitude does. Gratitude just gets us right there. Gratitude nourishes our roots, just like the tree, and it gives us that steadiness to let life's storms pass through us. Even finding one thing to be grateful for in a challenging moment can create that inner strength, like a big, huge, mighty tree, stands firm. Obviously, gratitude doesn't keep all the storms away, but it helps us move through them. It helps us align with the infinite. And just to be clear, I'm not saying thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever means we're grateful because we have had a painful experience or something that was uncomfortable happened, or that we're just doing a spiritual bypass, pretending everything is good when it isn't. It doesn't deny, gratitude doesn't deny pain or difficulty or the very real challenges that we face. What gratitude does is change the way we hold our challenges. Instead of shutting down or tightening up or resisting what's happening, gratitude creates just enough openness for something new to be born from the experience. It's sort of like a midwife, just staying present and steady and supportive while something deeper is trying to emerge, through each contraction. Gratitude doesn't erase the hard moments. It helps us stay centered and connected while we move through them. And in that space of openness, insight comes, resilience grows, and transformation becomes possible. Gratitude doesn't deny reality. It actually, what it does is it helps us grow into a larger reality. you know and then, as I was saying before, gratitude has a particular energy. It feels so good. It's peaceful and it's loving and it's kind and it's generous. And I read this story from Reverend Scott Aubrey. I've told you about him before. I get his weekly emails, and he often sends stories and stuff. And I think this story, it's his personal story. It's a real feel-good story. It reminds me of Yvonne in a way, and that's why I'm sharing it. You know, she had kind of declined cognitively in her last days. And we, as a community, we were always ready to support her, to help her move through it. And of course, she was always there to support us with her infinite trust and smile and stories. But this story is from Reverend Aubrey, and he wrote that every year, and we all know this, when the time changes in the spring, when we spring forward, most people generally remember to change their clocks and arrive at church on time. But when they forget, then they're an hour late. And one year in this little church where Reverend Aubrey grew up, everyone had changed their clocks and showed up for church on time. And everyone except for a dear elderly woman named Mrs. Pearson. Mrs. Pearson forgot to spring forward, and she showed up for church just as everyone was singing the closing song. And she came down the aisle and she took her usual place in the pew and she joined in the singing. And when the song ended, she sat down and everybody else stood up and started to walk out. And the preacher saw what was happening, and he stayed and he did the whole service all over again just for Mrs. Pearson. And there were several of the church members who saw what was happening, and they all came back into the sanctuary smiling and joined in the second service. And so the story goes that the preacher shortened his sermon a bit, but everything else was just the same. And later, when Mrs. Pearson realized what had happened, she was embarrassed, of course, but she was so grateful that her community was there for her in that way. There was a lot of love in the sanctuary that day. And I think all of us were always there for Yvonne, just as she was there for us. This is the magic of gratitude. It really is. It opens the door for us to embrace whatever's in front of us, even if it means doing a second service. And the sweet missteps of Mrs. Pearson, the forgetfulness of Yvonne, and the wonderful blessings that we all experience along the way, along with our challenges, are all things that are held can be held in our hearts with gratitude. I think gratitude is just a spectacular way to be. Another thing we often say in Science of Mind about gratitude is that it's creative. And I'm never quite sure if this is exactly the right way to put it, because law is creative action, right? We know creative law, that's kind of the mechanism through which things demonstrate. But gratitude definitely has the energy of creation. So maybe we could think of it like our life is a garden, and every thought, feeling, and action is a seed that we plant. And then gratitude is the sunlight and the water and the fertilizer that we prepare the soil with. And when we live our lives in an attitude of gratitude for everything, then the soil of our mind becomes this fertile ground ready for new growth. Because gratitude doesn't just notice the flowers that are already blooming, it creates an environment where more flowers can bloom. And, it shifts our focus from what's missing to what's possible. It aligns us with the energy of life. It opens us up, as I've already said. It opens us up to new ideas and new opportunities and new solutions. They just sort of begin to emerge naturally. I mean, really, when you're in that state of I love life, you're motivated to try new things, and you're open and you're receiving. Life's always moving, it's always creating. When we cultivate gratitude within our own minds and our hearts, we tune ourselves into that moment, into that movement of life that is always there. And then our gratitude inspires action. When we feel truly grateful, we're energized and we're open. And that energy sparks our imagination and our innovation and our motivation. I've certainly noticed that the more I practice gratitude, the more motivated and creative I become. Not necessarily because I'm a hard worker, although that might be a little bit of it, but because I'm living from a state of openness and trust. And then the possibilities are easier to see. Resources appear and synchronicities show up. Gratitude isn't just responding to life. You said that, Lissa. Dr. Joseph Pizza said that. It's a way of co-creating with it. It lays the groundwork and creates the environment and nourishes the spirit of creation itself. So, as we move into this week of gratitude and Thanksgiving, as we move into Thanksgiving week, let's let the energy of gratitude soften any resistance we have to anything in our lives. Let it strengthen our roots and open us to the flow of life. Just like Sono in her temple, we can meet the tasks and the challenges and even the difficulties of our lives without struggle. We can open our hands instead of clenching them in resistance. And in that spaciousness of gratitude, we move into peace. And that peace is our power. That's our power. So all I have to say is, thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. And let's pray. Let's take a breath and move into that spaciousness. Do you feel it? It is the peace of God, the love of God, the life of God. So grateful. We are all in it. We are all in this rich, juicy, joyous, miraculous energy of life, of gratitude itself. So I speak my word for and about myself and all of my beloved community. I speak my word about Relaine and Jim, who are moving through a challenge right now. We know that we are supporting and strengthening them in the one mind and the one consciousness, holding them. We know that anyone in our community who's going through a health challenge, we are knowing their radiant wholeness and health and that their body is coming into homeostasis. We know the abundance for our community, all the resources we need are provided. We know it all. It is just so good. I know that all of life is unfolding exactly the way that it should. And I just say thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever, as I know that God's good is right here, right now, through me, through you, through all. And together we just hold ourselves in that gratitude and say, and so.
Oh, it is.
I had a lot of fun talking about gratitude. It is a really, doesn't it feel good? Gratitude feels so good. It just does. Oh, I don't have, I think it's me. I think I'm doing I remembered. Good for me. Um, so this is our time of conscious giving. And we all know the ways to give, but I'll put the thing up here anyway. I love going to, I have to say, Gisela, I just got your letter in the mail. I love going to the mailbox and seeing the letter. Betty, I always love seeing yours too. And everybody else gives pretty much on Venmo. I love seeing all of that in there. It just makes me know that we are practicing what we teach, that we know that giving and receiving is one and the same, and that we're supporting this community where love abounds, where we love each other and connect with each other and support each other. So it just does my heart so much good to and to give myself. Every time I give to the community, I'm like, I'm being fed and I'm giving, just like that moment that I was talking about in the car. Got to tell you, that really touched me. That moment with my husband, because he is not one that shows appreciation easily. And he just was so genuinely grateful. Obviously, he's going through a tough time and it's difficult to not be able to drive and to do the things you used to be able to do. And for him to say that, just I was overflowing with love. So, and that's how I feel when I give to our community. And so I hope that you feel exactly the same way, because your generosity just keeps us going. And I'm so grateful. Let me put up the sacred giving affirmation. Here it is. I give with a grateful heart, knowing that spirit is the source and the substance of all supply. Isn't that true? It all comes from God. I joyfully participate in the circulation of abundance. My offering
Yes.
blesses the world and returns to me multiplied. I am grateful and I am prosperous. And so,
So it is.
there we go. And as far as announcements, we're going to have our first class with the book Return to Love. And it's an easy read. And I think that what we're going to end up doing is just talking about the preface and the introduction are really kind of her own story, which is kind of fun. And I'd love to hear your story, and hear kind of how I think I've heard most of them, but as we get older and things happen, more things bubble up that we went, wow, this happened to me when I was young, but I never realized how beneficial it might be in the long haul or whatever. You know what I mean? And so let's see. That we'll meet on Monday night, and then I hope that everybody has an amazing Thanksgiving. Gisela, are you going to your family for? Okay. Well, if anybody doesn't have a seat at the table, I am going to cook this year, and we have a big table. So if you need a place to be, you let me know. If you're local, well, you can fly down if you want. All right, my friends, my dear friends. I already prayed, so I'm just going to give us just a quick. I'm so grateful for this time that we spent together. I'm so grateful for everything that our center offers to us individually and collectively. I'm grateful for Lisa's wonderful words and stories, and she was right on target with what I was going to speak about, and her beautiful prayer. I'm just grateful for all of you. I'm grateful that you're here. And yeah, I guess I'm just grateful. So I am going to play some more gratitude music, and then I'll end the recording and we can just chat. But this is let me just going to share the sound. Not going to share there's no video, so every song I've chosen today is just music. So here we go. This is Karen Drucker as well.
Thank you. 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 I promise in this moment to keep my heart wide open. With every breath I take, I'm grateful. I promise in this moment to keep my heart wide open. With every breath I take, I'm grateful. I promise in this moment to keep my heart wide open. With every breath I take, I'm grateful. I am 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 grateful. I promise in this moment I am grateful to keep my heart wide open. I am grateful with every breath I am grateful. I am grateful. I promise in this moment I am grateful to keep my heart wide open. I am grateful with every breath I take. I am grateful. I am grateful. I promise in this moment I am grateful to keep my heart wide open. I am grateful with every breath I take. I am grateful. Thank you. I am grateful. I promise in this moment I am grateful to keep my heart wide open. I am grateful with every breath. Thank you. I am grateful. Thank you. I am grateful. I promise in this moment I am grateful to keep my heart wide open. I am grateful with every breath. Thank you. I am grateful. Thank you. I am grateful. I promise in this moment I am grateful to keep my heart so blessed. I am grateful with every breath. So blessed. I'm grateful. Thank you. I am grateful. I promise in this so blessed. I am grateful to keep my heart so blessed.
I'm grateful. Grateful. Karen was grateful. Oh, well, thank you all so much. I'm gonna go ahead and stop our recording and then we can just talk.